we were talking about COVID earlier, and every day getting up and, there's a team of people that are looking to you to, well, how's Al going to be? And that's back to my positive attitude. Put a smile on your face. Doesn't matter what I was feeling inside and how much apprehension I had. Me being apprehensive is not going to help everyone else, is it? And I know mental health is a really huge topic, and there's people that are on all sorts of the spectrum of mental health and where they're at. For me personally, and I can only really talk about me, is that I do have I do believe that I wake up in the morning and I can wake up with a smile on my face and think, hallelujah, it's another day, aren't I lucky? Or I can wake up and be miserable all day long. I won't do a better job or do a worse job. So, and I do believe that's in my own gift. I'm a big believer on thinking positive about things, and if something crisis happens, it's happened for a reason. Learn from it or whatever that might be. So I try and keep very positive within myself. I'm a human being, and we all have our moments, don't we? And there's times where I think, but I truly believe you're on this planet once, and every single day is a gift. We shouldn't just assume that we're going to be here forever. So enjoy it and be positive about it, and then others will enjoy it too.
So in terms of that story, then, you've got a child that's really interested in flying aeroplanes, but the teacher said that it's really not going to happen for them for various sort of socio-economic reasons. What can we do to make sure that moving forwards, people or children like that are given the same opportunities as everybody else?
Yeah, I think it's several prongs, isn't it? One is having the ability for them to come in without any financial commitment. I remember the teacher saying that basically, even if we'd have said, oh, he gets a loan for however much money to go and do his flying training. The teacher said, well, his parents just won't get it. The sums involved, it's not going to happen. You need a way of just coming in where it's just like any other job, and they can go in and be trained. So that's really important. And then I think once you can get someone in and show them flying, then get them back to say, look, actually, it's doable, or we can do this. And more people then back to the role models, more people then believing that, do you know what, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can do it, because it's key that they can do that, because we shouldn't give people unrealistic expectation. We shouldn't say, oh, of course you're going to be a pilot, if there's absolutely no way. But that's within the gift then to say, actually, we will have things like academies and scholarships whereby you need the academic background. And boy, these kids worked hard. They were not going to fail on the academic side, but the funding's there, so they've got the opportunity that everyone else has got.
Absolutely. It's that two-pronged approach, isn't it? They're having role models and also getting them through, and then having them become role models for the next generation.
Exactly right. Yeah. And it's going to take effort, and it's going to, it's something to do. But again, I don't want to harp about social mobility, but that gives you the opportunity to spread the word quicker, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that there are also other jobs within the aviation industry, as well as, on top of becoming a pilot, there are other roles too that can be considered.
Aren't there just? I mean, it's an awesome industry, from engineers to, everybody, an airline is an amazingly complicated thing. If nobody sold the tickets and there was no commercial department, there wouldn't be any customers, so there wouldn't be an airline. Nobody bought the fuel or didn't buy it at the right price, there wouldn't be an airline. There's so many fascinating roles in an incredible industry. Aviation is an amazing industry, and it's not just about being a pilot. There's all sorts of opportunities which are great.
Yeah, and the more you get involved, the more you realise there is. I remember certainly for me, until I moved into the industry, I was not aware of all of the many, many moving parts that it takes to get an aeroplane off the ground.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's incredible. And I still, I'm amazed by the whole aviation piece. How do you serve someone a meal in the middle of the Atlantic at 35, 40,000 feet? It's like, wow. It's easy to moan. Next time you have your airline meal, think, oh, this is rubbish. Well, actually, look where you are. It's unbelievable that you can get a meal for somebody and served, in the middle of the Atlantic. It's incredible.
So in terms of the roles you've had, they've been very high pressure, high stress, and some of them 24/7 roles. So how have you managed to decompress and not burn out doing those roles?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, you probably get a different answer from my wife than me. So I'm not the best at decompressing, I'll be honest with you. It takes me a while, if I've got a week off or something. It used to take me a few days to really switch off. And do you ever properly switch off? But surrounding yourself with great people, a supportive family, have something else to do. Go home and mow a lawn, cut a hedge, whatever it is I'm doing. Something different that just gets your mind away from thinking about the role all the time, because it can become all consuming. It really can. And I sleep pretty well. I'm quite lucky in that sense. I've never struggled with sleep, which really helps. Been lucky in that sense. But yeah, you've got to have something else that you can do as well. Now I'm not a big one for going to the gym, I have to say, or anything like that. I'm going to do my gym stuff. I want an output from it, so I want to have mown the lawn or done something that gives me, my exercises give me an output. But so that's what I do. And yeah, massively supportive family, very, very understanding, and never put any pressure on me to do stuff. I might get the eyes roll if the laptop came out, but no, very supportive, and that really helps as well.
And what about work-life balance then? It's a question I think is often asked a lot of women, but also it's not really asked to men as much, but it's equally as important. So how do you maintain work-life balance?
Yeah, again, back to the fact I'm probably not the expert to ask on a work-life balance, but again, surround yourself with good people, and people that will tell you, Al, actually it's time to shut the laptop down. It's time to decompress, get off the phone, because we're so connected these days, aren't we? It's terrible. We've all got these phones and laptops and iPads and things. So, and you do need time away from it, and you do need time to put it away and properly put it away and go for a walk, whatever that might be. We're lucky where we are. We've got some nice walks around and things. So, in the summer when the weather's nice, go and walk to the pub and back again or whatever. Something different, just to think of something else. But I'll be honest with you, you've got to work at it. In a senior role, it's not easy, because you are 24/7 and you are forever switched on. I think you kind of believe you're probably switched on as well, so it's as much your own need, I think, to I've got to check the phone, but you need that break, and you need people around you who are very supportive
and understanding, and also and sometimes I think the people around you they know you better than you know yourself in a situation, and they can go, maybe you need to shut the laptop down or switch off, and maybe you should go for a walk.
Very true. I went to visit my daughter. She lives in America, and of course, I'm waking up early. Well, what I really should be doing is forcing myself to sleep in a bit longer with the time change. But I'll be waking up early, and that was my excuse to go and sit and clear some emails and things. And it's only eventually people saying, actually, do you know what? Give it a break. It'll be there. It'll be there next week, which I say to other people. I'm terrible. I don't listen to my own advice. But, it'll be there. It's a bit like see people working late. Yeah, it'll be there tomorrow. So look after yourself. And it's really important, because taking leave as well. I was quite bad at taking leave in the old roles that I did. I'd go the whole year with a couple of weeks maybe. And it's only when you take that time off that you realise, actually, you're not giving your best, because you're so tired. Whereas you'd be better off having a break, and a proper break. Then you'll be able to give more. So, and that's what you go and get coaching and things, and people tell you. So it's really important. The whole work-life balance thing is really important. To give the best for the work, you've got to be in the right frame of mind.
So you just touched on coaching. Have you ever had any coaching or found it beneficial?
Yeah, hugely so. Yeah, I've had professional coaching, which you could almost liken to like a therapy almost, because as you probably worked out, I quite like talking, and going and talking to a coach who'd listen to you and then give you directions and advice. I really enjoyed it, and I got a huge amount out of it as well, because they'll be the first one to say, what is it you think that's not working, or they'll identify things that you're not optimizing yourself really. And for me, it's the difficulty to say no to anything. Was time management. I'm terrible at time management, and they identified that pretty quickly.
Did you choose to go to the coaching, or is it something that you sort of thought, I would benefit from coaching, or I would like to have some coaching, or was it something that work just offered?
I kind of bit of both really. So work offered it, and I said, yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm really glad I did, because it was really beneficial, and it's not life-changing coaching, but actually what it is, it kind of holds the mirror up, and gives you some good advice on the things that you could maybe do better, because back to our point from earlier, you can always strive to do better whatever you're doing.
Is there anything that you learned in coaching that you could share with the rest of us that you think is a top tip?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a pleaser in the sense that I do say yes to a lot of things, and actually you can't give your best if you're overstretching yourself. And I used to overstretch myself all the time. You know, classic examples. I had a very fortunate to have an EA help me out, and she'd say, you got 5 meetings this afternoon now. They're all laid on top of each other. Which one are you going to? And it's because I was going, yes, of course I'll come to that. Oh, yes, of course I'll come to that. And actually, all you end up doing is disappointing more people than you should do. So, get better time management was a really important one for me, and using time, you know, well, and freeing some space up so you're not pedaling. You know, if you're running on the treadmill at 110%, you're not going to do a great job because you're just spinning plates. And occasionally, when you're spinning plates, you've got to realise that, yeah, keep the Wedgwood plates spinning, but the old cheap plates over there, let them fall off. You know, they don't matter, but keep the important stuff going. So, you know, spin important plates and let the other stuff go. Otherwise, if you try and keep all the plates spinning, they all fall off.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, they'll all go. And
what about saying no? How do you find saying no?
I still struggle with it. Yeah, I still kind of, there's a pleaser inside me that says, you know, yeah, of course I want to help, of course I want to do. But actually, I've learned over the years that actually, if you do overstretch yourself, you just disappoint everybody, because you can't give the time. Whereas if you do say no, and saying no is a bit of an epiphany. If there's someone out there that's somebody that likes to please and say yes all the time, try saying no for once, and you'll see it's an epiphany moment, because you realise people say, yeah, all right. And you're like, oh,
yeah, it's quite liberating, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, what do you mean, all right? I could have been doing this years ago. And then actually you can focus on doing less, but doing it better.
Can you think of any times when you said no to something, when the old Al pre-coaching would have said yes, but now the new Al has said no, that you found actually really changed, you know, the outcome and was better for everybody? Yeah,
specifics is difficult because there's probably too many to mention, and that coaching thing was probably one of the first things I identified when I had coaching, and I had that fairly early on in my management career. And the danger is you've got to keep focused on doing that, because you fall into old habits before you know it as well. So yeah, in numerous times, well, I've kind of been dashing from one place to another, and I know I have. And again, this is back to my prepare thing. It's very difficult to prepare if you're overstretched, because you've got so much stuff going on, you don't have the time to prepare. Whereas actually, if you go back to, you know, I'll say no to that or no to that. It might be no next week, but actually in a month's time, come back to us. But then at least you can focus on doing a good job on the stuff you do. And I think that's more important. And I've learned that over time, that do less and do it well, than do a load of stuff and do it badly.
It's wise words, absolutely. And in terms of mental health then, how do you look after your mental health?
Yeah,
you would seem so positive and full of energy.
Yeah. I think I'm a pretty positive person. You know, I do believe in a bit of a positive mental attitude, and I know mental health is a really huge topic, and there's people that are on all sorts of the spectrum of mental health and where they're at. For me personally, and I can only really talk about me, is that I do believe that I wake up in the morning, and I can wake up with a smile on my face and think, hallelujah, it's another day, aren't I lucky? Or I can wake up and be miserable all day long. I won't do a better job, I'll do a worse job. And I do believe that's in my own gift. I'm a big believer on thinking positive about things. I believe in karma, and you know, if something crisis happens, there'll be something. It's happened for a reason. Learn from it, or whatever that might be. So I try and keep very positive within myself. You know, I'm a human being, and we all have our moments, don't we? And there's times where I think. But generally, I've found over time, if you can be positive, you can get up. If you're positive, the people you mix with, it rubs off on them. They're positive, and everyone feels better, and everyone has a better time. And you know, I truly believe you're on this planet once, and every single day is a gift. We shouldn't just assume that we're going to be here forever. So yeah, enjoy it and be positive about it, and then others will enjoy it too.
It's interesting what you're saying about taking control of your situation as well, by you influencing everybody around you by being positive. I'm sort of thinking about when we're flying, if the captain turns up and is a bit negative, it very quickly filters down. But equally, if we're positive, it just brings everybody up. And it's true, I think, in all environments, in all team environments, that positivity is contagious.
Yeah. We all have good days and we all have bad days, and we all wake up and there's a lot on your plate and you think, that's gone wrong, that's gone wrong. But, getting grumpy and moaning about it ain't going to fix it, but putting a smile on your face and thinking, well, do you know what? It happened for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So, learn from it and be positive. Yeah.
What about overcoming adversity? Is there any adversity that you've had to overcome that you could perhaps share with us?
Obviously, lots of work stuff was difficult. But again, it's back to, we were talking about COVID earlier, and every day getting up and, there's a team of people that are looking to you to, well, how's Al going to be? And that's back to my positive attitude. Put a smile on your face. Doesn't matter what I was feeling inside and how much apprehension I had. But me being apprehensive is not going to help everyone else, is it? So, just be positive and just take simple chunks, really. Like I say, honestly, I truly believe the sun comes up in the morning. My son's a big advocate of this. He's so horizontal. He's amazing. I learn from him. But he's really, the sun comes up, he owns the curtains, that's a result. And everything else after there is a bonus, really. And if you can feel that and be like that, it does help that, just take a moment to actually just, in the evening, look in the stars or something. It's unbelievable. Take a moment just to kind of think, wow, kind of lucky, really.
When we were talking before, you were telling us about a friend of yours at the dentist.
Yes, yeah.
Wondered if you wanted to share that.
Yeah, well, it's a great example, isn't it? I mean, he rang me up and he'd been to the dentist because he'd had a problem with his teeth. And he was in the car park and one of his other teeth broke, and he rang me up and he said, I had a bit of an owl moment this morning because I could have gone, oh, my teeth are falling apart, I'm getting older, world's ending. And he said, what I did was I went, do you know what? My tooth's broken, but I'm in the best place I can be. I'm in the dentist. So yeah, what a great thing. Yeah, it could have broken anywhere else, but it's broken. I'm in the dentist. So yeah, and I believe in that. It's just look on the positive side because, being grumpy and moany and thinking, oh God, it ain't going to make it any better. But if you can be positive about it, you think, well, skip away and you've got shiny new teeth and, well, it's great. You're in the dentist.
Yeah, so you're sort of reframing the experience, aren't you, from being a negative experience into as positive as it can be, but in looking on the bright side.
Exactly, and that's within your own gift. That's within your own gift. So you can dictate how you're going to feel and how you are. And I'm not saying I'm not human, and we all have our moments and we all have our tough times, but you can approach it in different ways, really.
And so in terms of moving forward then, what's next for Al? So at the moment you're training on the 777, back to flying the line.
Yeah. My wife say, I can't let stuff go. I love to be busy. So we have an amazing heritage centre, Speedbird Centre at BA. If you think BA is over 100 years old, 1919, the first flight, we can trace it back to. And we've got this fabulous archive of stuff. I mean, it's just awesome. So I was asked if I wouldn't mind taking over the oversight of that. So I'm like, yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah. So and it's an amazing place. It really is. Trying to get more visibility of it, get more volunteers, and just build it up because we've got vaults of stuff that you could walk through. We could walk through there, and it's like, oh, look at that, all aviation stuff. It's a bit like being in the Antiques Roadshow of aviation, which is amazing. So done that, and then the centre needs revenue, so written a book. Hopefully that'll come out in October.
You've written a book?
Cookbook with Jubilee. It's got recipes in it. Yeah.
So is this what you do to decompress then? You're cooking?
Yeah. And actually through COVID I wrote it. It's taken 2.5 years to write it and cooking as well. And it's basically a history of the airline every decade. And we've got all these menu cards in the Heritage Centre. From the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and there's all these menus. Like, well, do you know what? Wouldn't it be great to make recipes and make all these meals so that you at home can make a meal from 1950? And we've got all these menu cards, and we'll publish those menu cards, and then the recipes are there, so you at home can make the customer meal from 1950 or whatever. So and have the whole experience. And of course, the book's got pictures of what the cabins were like in 1950s, what people were wearing, and so you can go and make your all the way up to the current menu. You can make the cauliflower risotto off the club menu at the moment. So that's kept me busy. And again, I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but that's been a bit of decompression. Just writing a book, because when you're writing about food or you're cooking or what it's like making recipes, you try one, it doesn't work, you try it again. I mean, I created this almond torte, and I thought, I'll be clever and I'll make it with coconut flour. I don't know if you know anything about coconut flour, but it's basically dehydrated. The first one I made was drier than the center of the Sahara. It was like, oh my God. So then I had to kind of put more liquid in and try it again and again and again. So that's kept me busy. So that book, hopefully, touch wood, that'll be out in October. And then there's other books planned after that. So yeah, I enjoy that. I'm never going to be a great one to do nothing, I don't think. So yeah, there's other stuff planned, but just keeping the thing I love about the Heritage Centre is that's the foundations of current aviation. You know, it's not all about looking back, it's not all about history. It's about that's the foundations of where we're at, and also importantly where we're going as well, because that's just as important as an industry.
So what are the other books that you've got planned?
Kind of a series of books. So this magical book's called Flavour of Flight because of all the meals and things. And then actually we had this idea that we could give you a flavour of flight, but from different areas. So the next one's all objects, you know, from the museum. So there's, you know, everything from Imperial Airways cap badges to Concorde nose cone to, you know, all sorts of weird and wonderful things over time. Little items with information about them. So it's a bit of a book of the antiques trade show, you know, when they always have those wonderful little items. So there's objects will be the next one. So it's a flavour of flight through objects. And then I'd like to do cocktails. So we've done a lot of cocktails over time, and I like cocktails. And uniforms as well. So the idea is that we'll do a whole series, hopefully, of these books, and I think that will keep me out of trouble for a while. So, and hopefully people like them. You know, I might be barking up a tree; they'll probably be completely rubbish, but you know, hopefully they'll be good fun for people, and they'll get a flavour of flight. Because if you take back to me when I was a kid, not everyone's lucky enough to fly in aeroplanes. Not even these days, people aren't lucky enough to fly in aeroplanes, and you know, definitely not lucky to fly in premium cabins and things. So yeah, it gives everyone a flavour of that, and you can have a bit of a flavour of it at home.
And where will we find these books?
Well, hopefully, you know, there'll be. I think the publisher's called Amberley, and I think there'll be, you know, Waterstones online, wherever really. So, yeah, they're a great publisher. They really are.
That's fantastic. That's such an incredible idea. I'd never thought of doing that, but that's an incredible idea of having recipes. So, how did you find creating the recipes? Because I'm assuming you only had on the menus the actual food. You didn't have the recipes of how to make each meal, so you had to create them yourself.
Give it a go. Yeah, exactly. I mean, my mum's a great cook, so, and she's got recipes from way back when. So so yeah, there'd be like there's something on the menu like a chicken and ham pie. So just do some research about chicken and ham pies, and then I'll have a go. You know, and of course, you know, I'm a real believer in. I'm just a home cook, and probably not a very good one. So I'm not a classically trained chef or anything. But to me, food is about what you enjoy, and if you eat something and you taste it and you love it, then that's a great meal to me, you know. So don't overthink it, basically. So I just created stuff that fits the bill of what the menu is, and to me it tastes fine. To you it might taste awful, but to me it's tasted fine. So, and there's a lot of recipes in there, so you can try all sorts, from grilled prawns to, you know, souffles. There's a cherry souffle in there. There's all sorts of stuff. So
it's an incredible story that I'm hearing, and I just love the story. So what would you say if you could go back to 12-year-old Al, who's sitting on that Monarch Airlines flight?
Yeah.
What would you say to him?
I would say to him, you're going to be very lucky because things are going to work out okay for you. So now my advice to him would be just believe in yourself and be determined, you know, and you will get there. You'll get there if you put the effort in. You know, if you do your very best in life, little Al, it'll pay back. It really will pay back. And you know, well, you're going to get knockbacks along the way. We all get them. But that's when you get in that bucket of determination. And that's when you go, you know what? No, I'm not going to just give up. I'm going to keep going. It might be tough. I mean, it will be tough at times. We all know that. That's what life's about, isn't it? Has its tough moments. But, you know, when you need that, when that tough moment comes, that's when you dig deeper. All the going gets tough and all that stuff. So yeah, I'd say to little Al, yeah, mate, you do what you go for it. You try and do your best, but you're only gonna get it if you deserve it, and that involves you working hard.
And what do you think others can learn from your story? Because it's incredible. It's a remarkable story. So what do you hope to share, or what do you hope other people can take away from your story?
Well, in fact, I've been quite lucky. I think lots of opportunities have come along, and the important thing, as I say, is I've never had a grand plan. Even from when I was 12, the grand plan was to be a pilot. That was the plan, and then beyond there, there's never been a grand plan in terms of career or where I went and what I did. But in life, opportunities come along. They will come along, and then you've got to decide whether you want that opportunity or not. And I'm a massive fan of, you know, if it's something you really want to do, even if you think I'm never going to get it, it's not going to happen. Go for it. You never know. You absolutely never know. And even if you don't get it, you'll learn from it, and then maybe it'll come along again. If stuff comes along you don't want to do, don't do it just because you think you should be doing it. And that's another really important lesson, I think, because you'll always get found out. You know, you always do your best when you're doing something you enjoy and you really love. So yeah, the opportunities come along and you want them, go for them, grab them, and you'll be amazed. All of a sudden, you're 40 years in aviation later.
And just dig deep, have that confidence to go for what you want, put your hand up.
Yeah, and know that the road is going to be, there's potholes everywhere, isn't there? There always is in life. But understand that, and then just be as prepared as you can be, and do the best you can, and take the knockbacks and learn from them.
Well, thank you so much for your story today. I've really enjoyed our chat. It's been really interesting. I didn't know that you were becoming essentially a professional chef, writing a cookbook.
No, gosh, I hope it's not disappointing when it comes out.
I am looking forward to reading it. I hope I get a signed copy.
Well, I probably wouldn't want to just ruin the book for you. You want a clean one, but yeah, it'd be a pleasure.
But thank you so much for your time today. It's been really interesting, and I think a lot of what you've said will resonate with many of our viewers and listeners. And I think there's a lot that we can all take away from our chat today. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your story, and I look forward to hearing about your next adventures.
Thank you, and thanks for the invite to come along. It's been a privilege to be with you. Thank you.